Utah is known for its snowy mountaintops and iconic monuments, but in the shadows of this scenic beauty lurks a history of indifference for the public and the environment. In the late 1950s, uranium was in high demand for Cold War weaponry, and Utah was the place to get it. The mining and milling of uranium tore apart Utah's vastly diverse landscape, yet Utah's economy was stronger than ever. By the 1970s, cancer and illness rates had increased noticeably, and many began to accuse the government and the uranium industry of negligence and dishonesty. After the uranium industry went bust in the late 1980s, the radioactive waste that had piled up after decades of processing had no means of long-term disposal, and it was left for a future generation of Utahns to clean up. Throughout the 1950s, nuclear testing began to take place at Nevada Nuclear Test Range. The government assured residents of nearby communities that no harm would come to them. However, officials at the test range would only detonate their nuclear weapons when winds were blowing in the direction of the politically weak Utah. These tests showered nuclear debris on their unsuspecting neighbors in Utah and Idaho. The residents of these communities came to be known simply as downwinders.
This is the Moab Uranium Mill Tailings Remedial Action Project, UMTRA they call it, and our prime contractor is Energy Solutions. The objective is to remove 16 million tons of uranium mill tailings that's in this pile behind us here. The tailings are essentially the waste product from milling of the uranium ore. The pile is a result of milling of uranium ore that went on from 1956 to 1984. The chemicals of concern are ammonia, uranium, copper, molybdenum. Tailings pile is being excavated and that material is being put in these 40-ton containers you see. There's a set of trucks operating on the opposite side of that wall in the tailings pile that transports the material to a lidding-delidding building just on the other side of this white maintenance tent. It is then placed on a truck, transported through the haul road to the rail grade where it's loaded onto flatbed rail cars and taken up to Crescent Junction where the disposal cell is. No milling occurring here, it's purely cleanup.
The hydrology at the site is very complex, so what we do is we monitor the contamination level because there are endangered fish that inhabit the banks of the river.
The Colorado River is a very pivotal river supply, water supply for people, and you don't want to let things that shouldn't be in the water get in the water because people will probably be drinking that water. You want to try to preserve the earth as best you can, the air, the land, and the water, because they're limited resources. I mean, we only have so much. It shouldn't be here, but at the time that was the state of the art of disposal. That's what we did. We just buried things. Would I let my kid go play in the pile? Probably not. It wouldn't be, a smart thing to do. Would he get hurt if he did or exposed to something? Probably not. But again, I wouldn't recommend it. When we're done, absolutely, it will be returned to its natural state, and so will the hillside, just as it was when we came here. So no, I could see this being a bike trail or possibly a golf course. It'll be a nice park or something that DOE will leave behind for you guys in the community.
Audio output.
In 2008, Transition Power Development proposed to build a nuclear power plant near the town of Green River, Utah. According to their plan, the water needed to power the plant's turbines would come from a small nearby river, potentially affecting people downstream. The power plant stands to affect Utah's environment, and yet no official can guarantee that any of the power generated will stay in Utah.
We're very supportive of it. The city's very, very supportive of it. It's very clean energy. There's just should be no reason, none, why we shouldn't have it. We've been a boom and bust cycle community since the railroad was put in. Basically what we are right now at this point is just a stop-off place for people that are traveling through on I-70. We don't have a lot of conveniences that larger communities have. Our community would triple in size. Right now it would bring in better paying jobs. Right now the highest paying job probably is about a $38,000, $40,000 job within our community, and that's not a very high paying job.
I totally understand that people want jobs, people need jobs, they want development, particularly in a little place like Green River. But I don't think they are really prepared for 1,000 workers all coming into town to build a nuclear power plant.
We're a service industry where we have a lot of motels and restaurants and gas stations, and that's just minimum wage income jobs. So this will be a higher paying jobs. People would make more, so they'd spend more.
We tend to be involved as much as possible on these issues in the political arena. And so sometimes that means working during the legislative session to fight bad bills or to try and promote good bills. We work to prevent different types of nuclear waste and more dangerous types of nuclear waste from being dumped in the state.
Well, I was just kind of shocked that they would pick Green River, I guess. I mean, I think Green River has a lot better potential for other things besides the power plant, personally. Well, I'm not for the power plant because we don't know the long-term effects of it, and we don't know what it could do to the water or the availability of the water, or just we're downwind from there, so that would be a big concern for our health and our animals' health. And we have a fairly unique piece of ground in the state of Utah that's pretty much surrounded by all natural, untouched land, and the value of it could probably go from being fairly valuable to really reduced to nothing, which would be devastating to us. If there's negative radiation here, nothing's going to grow as well, and basically put us out of business. It could affect how the crops grow, it could affect the animal health, how the animals produce.
Now they want to put it right next to where cattle graze, where there's wildlife from up on the mountain.
They won't let us put a power line in for our needs. At this point in time, we have no power here. We have never had power. We have no electricity. We've gone for 50 years without it. I mean, we need to change our thinking a little bit. If they're going to produce it here and ruin our livelihoods, it should be used in Utah, not sent to California. If they want to produce nuclear power there, let them produce it and them use it. Don't ruin our lives for the sake of them.
Eventually, uranium miners and downwinders both received compensation from the government, but only after years of lives poisoned by the effects of working around radioactive ore and from nuclear fallout. Due to a recent increase in the value of uranium, mines in Utah have been reopening, and the boom and bust cycle of uranium begins again.
You say you want a revolution, well, you know, we all want to change the world. You tell me that it's evolution, well, you know, we all want to change the world. But when you talk about destruction, don't you know that you can count me out? And you know it's gonna be alright. You know it's gonna be alright. You know it's gonna be alright. You say you got a real solution, well, you know, we'd all love to see the plans. ask me for a contribution. Well, you know, we're all doing what we can. And if you want money for people with minds that hate, all I can tell you is, brother, you have to wait. But you know it's gonna be alright. You know it's gonna be alright. You know it's gonna be alright. You say you change your constitution. Well, you know, we'd all love to change your head. You tell me it's the institution. Well, you know, you better free your mind instead. But if you go carrying pictures of Chairman Mao, you ain't gonna make it with anyone anyhow. And you know it's gonna be alright. 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 Alright.
Snoggers.